So now let's talk about dimensions. So just like sketch relations, dimensions can also constrain your drawing. So they can add restrictions so that your drawing becomes fully constrained. So in this case, you can apply dimension using this smart dimension tool right here, or you can just expand it just by clicking here and select any of these dimension tools. So in this case, I will select a smart dimension because using this smart dimension, we can apply almost any of these dimension types. So select the smart dimension, and now I'll start with this line. So I'll click here, and now look at this. It will just apply the dimension from this point to this point. Now, if I click OK, it will just select this value, whatever this is. But in this case, I don't want that. So I'll just cancel this out. And now I'll just select it and I'll delete this and I'll apply it again. So I'll go to this smart dimension. Now I'll select this line, and this time I'll also select this line. All right, and now it will show you the distance between these two lines. So right now it's 24.99. Just click, and once again we have the same. This time let's change the dimension. So I'll just make it maybe 25 and press enter. Now this distance is 25 unit. In a similar way, you can apply more dimensions. For example, if you go to the circle and apply the dimension, it will add the diameter automatically. Now when I move this dimension close to the circle, you'll notice that the diameter type here will change. Now we have two parallel extension lines, but if I move further away from this, it will just become something like this. Now if you want to keep the type of dimension fixed, then simply move away from your circle or any of the geometry and then right click. When you right click, this padlock icon will change, and now no matter how far you move away from your drawing, you'll still have this parallel extension line no matter where you go. So it kind of locks your dimension. Now right click again to just unlock it, and now once again it's free to move. So I'll just add this here, and I will type the diameter of 20 and press enter. Now if you apply the dimension on this arc, it will add radius. So I'll click here and I'll use 10 unit arc value. All right, and I'll just press escape key. Now in this case, let's apply the dimension between this circle and this. For that, I'll select this circle and then I'll select this circle. And when we do that, look at this, it will apply the dimension between the center of these two circles. But once again, in this case, the dimension is applied horizontally, but if I move further away from this along this direction, look at this, the dimension will become inclined. Now, if you don't want that, if you want to keep your dimension locked to the horizontal direction, just right click. And once again, it is locked. No matter how far you move away from this, it will always remain horizontal, and you can just apply it. So I'll just type 40 and enter. All right. Now, what if you need dimension from circumference of a circle to the circumference of the second circle? Now, in that case, well, you need to change the workflow. So I'll select this dimension and I'll delete it. And I'll go to smart dimension again. And I will now shift select my first circle. So press and hold your shift key and then click on the first circle. Once again, shift select the second circle. And now look at this, we have the dimension from circumference to circumference. In this case, I just clicked close to these 2 points, so I have the dimension connecting these two close points. But if, however, you want your dimension from this point to, let's say, this point, then you need to change your clicks. So I'll do that. I'll press escape a couple of times, and now once again I'll go to smart dimension. So I'll select this one, but make sure that you have shift key pressed before you are selecting this. So I'll press and hold my shift key, then I'll click here, and now I'll click here close to this point, and we have the dimension connecting these 2 points. There we have it. So I'll click, and that's the dimension. Now once again, I'll select this and I'll delete it. Now as you add dimensions in your drawing will start converting into black color. So in this case, this line is black, but not all the other lines, they are still blue. Now if you add more and more dimensions, for example, I'll go to smart dimension and I'll add a dimension here, which will be the angle. So I'll just add this, and here also you can just move your cursor to the other direction to add angle in that direction. So I'm happy with this one, so I'll just add it here. And in a similar way, I'll add more dimensions to this so that the drawing becomes close to being a constrained drawing. So I'll select now this line and this line and just okay. So I'm just accepting the default values here. So this and this, and well, here it is. Now the drawing is very close to being constrained, but it's still not fully constrained. All right. Now it looks like the outer geometry is constrained, but not these two circles. So we've got to constrain it. So I'll select this point and this point, the circle. All right, that is done. Now from this point to this point, all right, that is done. And now this radius is missing. So, well, diameter, that's also fine. And finally, the distance between these two. All right. Now that seemed to have not worked. So we still need just one more dimension, and that is the vertical distance from these two. And that looks like it just over constrained it. So now in this case, you can press escape key a couple of times so that the smart dimension is completely deselected, and now you can grab your geometry and move it. You can move it to check the degrees of freedom where this dimension is moving. So as you can see, in this case, the circle is moving freely along the horizontal direction. So that is the only direction where I just need to constrain it. So to do that, I'll just go to smart dimension. I'll select maybe this center and this line, and I'll add the final dimension, which will make it fully constrained. Now, once your drawing is fully constrained or fully defined, you will see that it will turn completely black in color. And also on the status bar, you'll see this fully defined. Now, if I delete any dimension here, maybe this one, I'll select and delete, that fully defined option will change to underdefined. So that's how you can identify if your drawing is fully constrained or not. Now, as you can see, it took some time to just constrain it fully. Now you can do that very quickly using auto constrain as well. So I'll just delete all of these dimensions. All right, now all the dimensions are gone, and now I'll apply the dimensions automatically using this option right here. So right here we have a fully defined sketch option selected, and now you can select the option to define it fully. So if you have multiple sketches, you can select all sketch entities, or if you want to select few entities from your sketch, then select the second option and select the sketches that you want to fully define. In this case, I have many sketches and I want to define it completely. So I'll select the first option and I'll click on this green check mark, and there we have it. It just defined it fully, and it will automatically add the dimensions to do so. And once again, it is fully defined. So you can use this option as well. So I'll press Ctrl Z to get back to this, and that was the overview of dimensions.